Shalom and welcome for this week's Hebrew class. And my name is Tom Howling, and today we are going through the last few verses of Yehuchanan or Yochanan in modern Hebrew, or John in English, verses 67 to 71. So let us begin, therefore. And for all those that are relatively new, we of course have a chart which helps us with the Nukud, the valve marking, and also these great resources which I would encourage you to use. So let's start. And we now begin in 67, and it's represented by a Samek, which has a value of 60, and a Zion, a value of 7. And then we go through the letters as we do each week. Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin, Aleph, Lamed, Shin, Nun, Yod, Mem, Sofit, He, Ayin, Sin, because the dot's on that side, Resh, He, Yod, Shin. And we see that the Aleph here is in white, meaning it is not pronounced. So we read, Va-yo-mer, and he said. Why is it he? Because there's no pronoun. And that tells us that we can use he. And then who is he? Yahushua or Yahusha, or of course in modern Hebrew it's Yeshua. L2, Shaneim, meaning to the two, and I've just added and to read it easier. He asar, the 10. So to the 2 and the 10, which means the 12, meaning the disciples. Ha-yesh, must it be? A questioning hey. So here we're continuing on from the difficult words that Yeshua was speaking about eating his flesh and drinking his blood. And so therefore many disciples have left him. So he's asking that same question to the 12. Yeshua said to the 12, must it be that? And I've given you the meaning for yesh as an adjective which means one must, it is necessary, may it be, there are. And so we'll just quickly read that. Va-yo-mer, Yahushua el sheneim he-asar ha-yesh. And he said, Yahusha, to the 2 and the 10, the 12, must it be? So we can translate it, must it be, or is it necessary? And then we move on to the second part. We have an Aleph, a Tav, a Nun, a Fei, because no dot, Shin, Kaf, Mem Sofit, Gimel, Mem Sofit, Aleph, Tav, Mem Sofit, Lamed, Samek, Vav, Resh, Mem, Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yod. And we read it. Et. That's a grammar marker. Naf, She, Kem. Yourselves. And we know that Nefesh means soul, and Kem is a plural form of you. So it's talking about the whole 12 of them. So you could say your souls or yourselves, because nefesh can mean self as well. Gum also, atem, you. Again, that's a plural you. La sur, to turn aside. So let's have a look. Its root is sar, kal verb, which means to turn aside, to deviate, to move away, to depart. So you could also say, and to depart. To turn aside, with the lamed being like to, because sur, I guess, basically means to turn, right? It means turn. And we have me me'acharei. Me'acharei. From, literally it means from after me, but to make it more understood, it's from following after me. Must it be that you yourselves want to depart from me? That's how it's translated. And we have nefesh, it's a feminine noun, it means soul, person, oneself. Then we have acharei, which is a prep, which means after. That's normally how after would be, but here it's got a different ending because that ending means me. It could also mean my after, but it actually means me, from after me. And so we can now read that. And it is et naf shekem gam atem la sur me'acharei. Grammar marker yourselves, also you, to turn aside from following after me. And so we now come to 68, represented with Samak 60, Chet 8. And we have Vav, Yod, Ayin, Nun, Sofit, Nun at the end of a word. Aleph, Tav, Vav, Shin, Mem, Ayin, Vav, Nun, Sofit, Nun at the end of a word. Kaf, Fe, Aleph, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yod, Aleph, Lamed, Mem, Yod, Nun, Lamed, Kaf, Sofit. That's a kaf, but is at the end of a word. And we begin. And he, because there's no pronoun, answered. Why is it answered? Because we have the prefix here, the vav and the yod. The yod is imperfect, but the vav makes it perfect, like a completed form. But the actual root word is ana, which is a kol verb to answer or to reply. And of course the hey is dropped off because it's a weak letter. And he answered, O to, meaning him. And then we talk about who is him. Shimon, meaning Shimon or Simon in the modern Hebrew. In the English. Kefa, right? Kefa, which is translated into the English as Peter. Adoni, my master. Again, the pronoun is at the end with the chirik and the yod. My master, because Adon means master. El to me, which can be who or whom. To whom, nelek. The nun in this case is we. And it can be also used as an imperfect form. So shall we go? To whom shall we go? And I've given you the root of that as being halak, a kol verb to go, to walk, to proceed. And so the English translation is, Simon Peter answered him, my master, to whom shall we go? And we read that now. Vaya'an oto Shimon kefa Adoni el mi nelek. And he answered him, Shimon, Kefa, my master, to whom shall we go? And we come to 68b. We have a Dalet, Veit, Resh, Yod. Chet, Yod, Yod. Ayin, Vav, Lamed, Mem, Sofit. Ayin, Mem, Kaf, Sofit. And we read it. Divrei, the words of. The reason it is of, with this ending, it's a construct form. The words of chaye, life, and also that's like a construct form too. Life, and then we got olam, eternal. You could almost translate it as the life of the eternal, but they normally translate it life eternal. Imak, with you. Now the im is a prep. It can mean with, together, or by. So we're using it as with, and the kaf at the end is you. The words of eternal life are with you. So now we read it without any aids. Divrei chaye olam imak. The words of life eternal with you. And so we now come to 69a. It's a samak 60 and a tet, the 9th letter of the alphabet. Then we have vav, aleph, nun, chet, nun, vav. Hey, aleph, mem, nun, vav. Vav, nun, dalet, ayin. Kaf, yod, kuf, dalet, vav, shin. And so we read, va, anachnu, va'anachnu, and we. Anachnu means we, and we. He'emanu, we believe. Now the root of that is he'emin, which is a verb to believe in. So we see actually that one of the nuns is sort of dropped. So we get the new meaning we, but it also is part of the root, he'amin. So we believe. And then we have va ne da, and we know, because we know that yada is the root. Yada, it's a kal verb to know, to recognize. And the nun, therefore, is telling us that it's we, and we know. Ki, that, because ki can be that, for, or when, so we'll use this that. Kedosh, the Holy One, and I've added of, because we know Kadosh means holy, right? But it means the Holy One of. But we have believed and know that the Holy One. So we read it. Va anachnu he'emanu va neda ki kedosh. And we believe and we know that the Holy One of. And so we come to 69b. We have an aleph, lamed, hey, yod, mem, safid, aleph, tav, hey. And this one is Elohim. And ata, you. So that the Holy One of Elohim, you are. That's the implication. Elohim, you. And so we now turn to 70. It's represented with an ayin, which has the value of 70. And then we go vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, aleph, lamed, yod, hey, mem, savid, yod, hey, vav, shin, ayin, hey, lamed, aleph, vet, chet, resh, tav, yod, aleph, nun, yod. And we read, va yomer, and he said, alehem, unto them, because hem is the plural form, them, Yahushua, that's who's speaking, Hello, So we know that's a questioning hey. Is it not? You could say did not, is it not? It's a question. And then we have vacharti. Vacharti, I chose. Now, we see the root is bachar, kal verb, to choose, to select, to appoint, to pick. And it means I chose. But as I've put here, it's a redundant pronoun because the next one says ani, I. So it's like a repeat. I chose I. So they, in the translation, they only give you one time I. Yeshua answered them, have I not chosen? And often you find in Hebrew there's some redundant pronoun, but that just helps us to see that that belongs to the I. So let us read that now. Vayomer Alehem Yahushua Halo Vacharti Ani. And he said unto them, Yeshua, is it not I chose I? And then we come to part B of 70. We have a Vayet, Kaf, Mem Safid, Shin, Nun, Yod, Mem Safid, Hey, Ayin, Sin, Resh, Vav, Aleph, Chet, Dalet, Mem, Kaf, Mem Safid, Sin, Tet, Nun Safid, Hey, Vav, Aleph. And we read it. Va-kem, in you. Now, often it'll be translated among you, but in you is the literal. Sheneim, two, and I've added and again. He-a-sar, meaning the 10, or 10, so 2 and 10, or 2 and the 10, which means 12. Ve-echad, and one, mi-kam, from you. Satan can be a devil. If we looked at it, Satan means devil, fiend, demon, or adversary, because Satan means an adversary, right? From you, an adversary or a devil. Who he is. Did I not choose you, the 12? But one of you is a devil. So let us read that. Va-kem, sheneim, he-a-sar, ve-echad, mi-kem. Satan, who? In you, 2 and 10, 12, and one from you, a devil he is. And so, now we come to 71a, represented with the iron 70 and Aleph 1. Then we have Vav, Zion, Aleph, Tav, Dalet, Bayit, because the dot, Resh, Ayin, Lamed, Yod, Hey, Vav, Dalet, Hey, Bayit, Nun, Safit, Shin, Mem, Ayin, Vav, Nun, Safit, Aleph, Yod, Shin. So we read, Ve-zot. And this, Diber, he spoke, because Diber means to speak, al, about or regarding, Yehuda, Yehuda. Often, in English it's translated Judas, but it's literally Yehuda. Ben, meaning son, and I've added of, Shimon, son of Shimon. Ish, meaning a man, and I've added of, a man of. So he spoke this about Judas, the son of Shimon, a man, because I'm giving you a better understanding of his name, which we know he's called Ishcariot, but Ish means man, man of. So we read this. V'zot diber al Yehuda ben Shimon Ish. And this he spoke about Yehuda, son of Shimon, a man of. And then part B, we have Kuf, Resh, Yod, Vav, Tav. Aleph, Shin, Resh, Yod, Mem, Samek, Resh, Nun, Vav, Vav, He, Vav, Aleph, Aleph, Chet, Dalet, Mem, Shin, Nun, Yod, Mem, Safit. And we read it. Keriot, Keriot, Keriot. And literally that means the districts. If we look down, it comes from Kiria, which is a feminine noun meaning town, suburb, district, campus. So he was a man of the districts, and therefore Ishcariot is not his name. It's his description of where he came from. Asher hu yim serenu, would hand over him. So how do we get that? So let's have a look. I've got a note in the word yim serenu. The dagesh in the nun reveals that the nu is a singular form for him or it, but in the context it is him. So we also have masar. It's a kol verb to deliver, to transfer or to hand over. So therefore, literally it's saying who would hand over him. Vehu, and he, and I've added was, echad, one, mi shaneim, from the two. So the man who would betray him, and he was one of the 12. We haven't finished the verse yet, so we'll see the other part. And so now let's read it. Keriot asher yim serenu vehu echad mi shaneim. And just a point. When we have two shavas together, the second one is always a vocal. That's why it's yim se. So it's a short E sound, se. Whereas this one has no E behind it because it's a closed loop, yim. Se, re, nu. Right, and so the translation is the districts, Keriot, who would hand over him, and he was one from the two. And then we have the second part of the verse, which has a he, ayin, sin, resh, which is he, asar, the 10. So the 2 and the 10, therefore the 12. And I've given you some indications here. Etzer is a noun meaning 10, and it's more or less a feminine form. And then we have asa, which is also a noun used for teen, as in 13, 14, meaning it's the 10 part of the teen. And then we have iser, which is a piel verb to tithe, all rooted in the concept of 10. So now we can read that. He'asar, right? The 10. And so we come to our revision. So we have a samek. We know that is a value of 60. And a zayin, a value of 7. So we're in 67. Vayomer. And he said, Yahushua, that's who's speaking, L2 Shanaim, the 2, He-a-sar, and the 10, Ha-yesh, must it be? Is it necessary? Must it be? And he said, Yeshua, to the 2 and the 10, must it be? Et grammaka naf shekem, your souls or yourselves, gum also, atem you, plural form, la sur, to turn aside, mea charev, from after me or from after following me. Grammar mark yourselves, also you to turn aside from following after me. Now we have some Acts 60, Chet 8. We're in 68. Vaya'an, and he answered, O to him, Shimon, which is Simon, Kepha, Peter, Adoni, my master, El, me, to whom? Nelek, we shall go. And he answered him, Shimon, Kepha, my master, to whom will we go? Divrei, the words of Chaye, life, Olam, eternal, imak, with you, or are with you. The words of life eternal are with you. Then we have Samak 60, Tet 9. We're in 69. Va'anachnu, and we, he'emanu, we believe, va'neda, and we know, ki, that, kedosh, the Holy One of. And we believe and we know that the Holy One of Elohim, ata, you, or you are. And now we see we have an ayin which has a value of 70. So we're in verse 70. Vayomer, and he said, Alehem, unto them, Yeshua. How lo, did not, because it's a questioning hey, vacharti, I chose, ani, I. And he said to them, Yeshua, is it not I chose I? Vakem, in you, often translated among you, Shanaim, 2, and He-a-sar, and the 10, which of course means the 12. Ve'echad, and one, mikem, from you, that's a plural you, Satan, a devil or an adversary, who he is. In you, 2 and 10, and one from you, a devil he is. And we have an ayin, 70, and a left 1. Vezot, and this, diber, he spoke, about Yehuda, which is translated as Judas, Ben, son of Shimon, Ish, a man. And this he spoke about Yehuda, or Judas, son of Shimon, a man of. And then we have, in 71, the second part, Keriot, meaning the districts. So a man of the districts. Asher who Yim Se Re Nu would hand over him. Vehu, and he, echad, one, Mishaneim, from the two, Asar, and the 10. We can add and there, right? The districts, Keriot, who would hand over him, and he won from the 2 and the 10. And then finally, we come to our vowel markings. And we see we have a kamatz. And a kamatz, as the sound implies, is a longer A sound, where we have patak, shorter A, zere, a longer E, segol, a shorter E, shava, which breaks the word into its syllables, and it can be silent or with the short E, depending on how it's presented. Cholam, that is the O sound. Shuruk, that's a short U. And kubutz is a longer U. Then we have a combination of kataf, segol. And it has, as you can see, a shavar with a segol after it. Then we have chirik, the I sound, kataf, patak, the short A after the shavar, and then we have kataf, kamatz, a longer A after the shavar. And finally we come to our resources again, because I want to say it's imperative that we have a good resource to dig deep into the words and to learn it. And I would encourage you to use these resources. And then, of course, we have our chart here, which we will randomly go through letters. We have a tav, which has a value of 400, Samek, 60, Sadeh, 90, Zion, 7, Yod, 10, Lamed, 30, Nun, 50, Resh, 200, Pei, 80, Kuf, 100, and Kaf, 20. And so, we'd like to thank you for joining us. If you watched so far, we do pray these are great resources that you can learn the basics of Hebrew through reading the scriptures. And we just want to wish you a Shavua Tov, a good week. And may the peace and love of Yeshua or Yahusha be with you all. And have a blessed week. Amen.